the lectures we have been going through since morning have been very informative. Now, I have taken time to slow down during this lecture because I wanted you to write down some of those key points. And I'm very sure that you're writing them down is with the intention to implement them immediately after this meeting. For you Christ with Tabernacle pastors, whenever I come to your parish, I'll be having personal time with you to tell me what you remember, what you have done with it. If I come to your parish for any conference, the next conference within that conference will be that I sit with you and your wives or husband, and you tell me, I will ask you what is the remedy to navigate through these global complexities, and I don't expect you not to understand that language. And I expect an answer in one sentence. Then I ask you what are the enablers of authentic leadership? What are the traits of purpose-driven leader? What is purpose? And you tell me. So which means that I've given you enough things to go and memorize. Memorize, écoutez et répétez, écoutez et répétez. Okay. Now, because we have just probably about 15-20 minutes now, I will just take you through the end cap of global trend. The end time church and the global trend. Now, Jesus made predictions in the book of Matthew 24, and let's look at it together and see whether Jesus was accurate. It says in that scripture, verse 6 of chapter 24, Matthew, you will hear of wars and rumors of war. Is Jesus accurate? Yes. But see to it that you are not alarmed. So what's the construct of your mind when you hear about this war? Alarm? Jesus said, don't be alarmed. Now, let me ask you, what about the people who are the victim in Ukraine now? How do we tell them? The Christians who are there. Of course, Jesus said, don't be alarmed. Whether you are in it or not in it, you will not be alarmed. Why? Because your God is in control of every situation. And I had testimonies of people who are coming to Jesus now in alarming rates in Ukraine. A lot of them are getting saved, running to Christ. But Jesus said, don't be alarmed. Why? Such things must happen, but the end is still to come. So, Russia can put an end to this war. All the empty threats of nuclear stuff, let them shoot it. I wish the global leaders know the Bible. That would not have hindered them from doing what they want to do. And I can guarantee you that no nuclear weapon will be fired. Because nuclear weapon is not throwing pancake to somebody's house. You who shot it will not live. You know, that nuclear weapon work in the air. Jesus said, such things must happen, but the end is still to come. Verse 7 says, nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Is Jesus correct? Yes. This is the global trend of the end time. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. Is that correct? Yes. We had the earthquake that happened in Turkey, and Turkey now, I'm talking about Turkey. And this, well, to part of Syria. But these earthquakes, the greatest hit is Turkey. But these earthquakes happened, and we were two earthquakes, and then aftershock followed. And we were almost finishing helping those people. This week, it struck again in another part of Turkey. A new earthquake. Jesus said there'll be earthquakes in diverse places. In Wales this week, there was an earthquake. God save us. That the earthquake is the one that is that happened in Wales was very brief. Jesus went further to say, verse 8, all these are the beginning of birth pains. So some more tragedy is coming. Global trend. Then you will be handed over and be persecuted and put to death. And you will be hated by all nations because of me. That is already happening. Now, if you say you're a Christian, I know of England. If you say you're a Christian in any office in England, everybody's brows are up. That even they are trying to stop. They are trying to stop Christmas celebration. They have stopped you from putting anything about Jesus on your table in the office because it's offensive to somebody. But you can put anything about other religion. They are not offended. He said, you'll be hated by all nations because of me. And then further we went to say, verse 9, then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death. You will be hated. Verse 10 says, at that time many will turn away from the faith. That has started to happen, and you will see many more turn away from the faith and will betray each other and hate each other. Now, when this happens in church, excuse me, I want you to think about all what I've taught you. This is what the intellectuals call wicked problem. That is something they define as wicked problem. When members begin to betray themselves in church, what do you think will happen in industry? Highest betrayal. It will lead to collapse of many organizations. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming because Jesus said it. And many false prophets will appear and deceive many. Some of our members will just gravitate to false prophets. Those are the ones whose names are not written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Those are the ones who are preaching the truth to now and they don't believe it. That's the reason why you and I must do what I have originally told you. Authentic leadership principle, purpose-driven leadership. Is it not because we have members now that we are saying that we have a church? Can you imagine somebody who did not prepare his people, their heart, and do all what I've been saying, preaching with your heart, serving God with your heart, and teaching in line or preparing the people of God to become a body that God can live? Any church doesn't do that. Satan will delude your people. Imagine your building empty. Because all the people did not have sound doctrine. They have no personal relationship with God. They are miracle seekers. Believing that one man perform miracle, that's the bishop or the apostle or the prophet, and all of them come for miracle. They come for anointing service only because they want to prosper. That's the whole of their inclination. They will be deceived and they will leave the church. By the scale of the global calamity that is coming, they will leave the church. So it says, because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most people has cold. But he who stands firm to the end. So do you recognize the reason why the Lord has directed me to teach you all these things? If war is happening, rumors of war is happening, and all the nations are rising, you must know, earthquake is happening, you must know that this too will happen to the church. The church, people will leave. Crowd will no more. Because they have been deceived. I told you the last weapon of Satan is delusion, isn't it? So, we have to build a people who can stand in the midst of storms. A people who cannot be deceived because they have true knowledge. You and I. We have to prepare a people who cannot be affected by poverty. And Jesus said for that, which I read to you before in verse 21, for then there will be great distress. that is wicked problem, will happen in those last days. What is wicked problem, by the way? This is how the intellectuals define wicked problem. They are problems, wicked problems are complex problems that have their root in a number of convoluted factors, hence not easily solvable. And I will give you some things that create wicked problems, and which will summarize what Jesus was saying. You know, we have to be awake. I'm telling you, Satan is not sleeping, and the children who serve the devil do not rest. They are working tooth and nail to wind down this world so that Satan can take over, the beast. And that's why Church of God must be informed. So, our leadership style this time, which is the end time, should be such that can deliver desired impacts of the future, regardless of all challenges. Now, let me drive you down to your tasks for your membership now. What are the factors that may constitute or that may give rise to wicked problems? Jesus said it. But those factors can be summarized as: 1, globalization; 2, pandemic or epidemic; 3, wars; 4, rumors of war; 5, earthquakes; 6, challenges in government of global leaders. I will go through it if you miss it. Globalization is the first one. Pandemic is the second one. Wars, rumors of war, earthquakes, and challenges in governments of global leaders. The challenge that face global leaders. And of course, famine. And the last one is artificial intelligence. You know, let me say this to you. If in any career now, if you have been graduated just so many years ago, I think you need to go back and read and update yourself. I give you this assignment because I was given the assignment in my law practice that go and investigate on AI invasion in law practice. And as an arbitrator, I read so many papers on it. Estate management or estate surveyors will soon become obsolete. We don't need them anymore. Really, right now, if you are an estate surveyor, I can guarantee you that you have no career unless you go and study how do you update yourself. What's the job of an estate surveyor? I want to buy a house, I go to an estate surveyor, correct? Yes. I don't need them anymore. What will estate surveyor do? He will tell me that, okay, these are the houses that is advertised. He could advise me on how much they sell it to negotiate and stuff. And it will take me to view the property. In my house, through AI, I can just go to one of these networks and put my post or the postcode of where I want to buy a house. It will give me all the houses. I can do a virtual tour of the houses. All right? So if I can do all that, why should I pay someone to come and take me there and take money? I can bid for the houses on the net without leaving my room. And I can pay from my bank to their bank. without leaving my room. Look at when you were in some few years ago, you go to the airport, you find all the counters, people are manning the counters, some of them are cordial, some of them are rude and all stuff like that. Now you don't have business with anybody. You checking yourself, you checking your bag. AI took over everything. And when you get to those counters, empty. Except one or two who will come and help you in problem. You know, if you're a minister and you don't think about these things, you'll be caught by surprise. They are wicked problems. They are the things that give rise to wicked problems. Jesus spoke about it. There will be famine, there will be war, pandemic, plague, there will be rumors of war, earthquake, and this AI infiltration. And of course, challenges that face government. And then Daniel said people go to and fro seeking knowledge. So, therefore, if this is what is happening, which Jesus has prophesied before he died, and it is our generation that is seeing all these occurrences in an integrated manner. And remember, things are changing per second on earth right now, per second. If you are too late, you have been left behind by the changes happening, which will determine the financial capacity of your members. It will affect their social interaction. There is migration from Africa to Europe because that has been going on because the economic crisis. Now look at what has happened by the war of Ukraine. It now exploded that. Look at what will happen when AI take over many jobs that your members are doing. They are jobless. And you can't turn away your eyes from them. Because when they had, they were with you. So we have to bring our money together and share it as it was in the beginning. So we may not be able to eat 3 square meals because you have to take care of others who are part of the family of God. For that not to happen, let me tell you what you must do. You must develop some skills and tell your church members to develop some skills. Because the ultimate global challenges that is happening will increase in impetus and will prompt leaders to focus on developing some skills. Number 1 skill, complex problem solving. And I will talk about these ones tomorrow. Number 2, critical thinking. You know, these are attributes that we studied before in this meeting about the traits of purpose-driven leader. Complex problem solving, all right? Critical thinking, okay, and creativity. I would say creativity and innovation. Tell your members they should not just sit down on the glory of yesterday. They must advance in equipping themselves with necessary skills. There's not such a thing that I can't read anymore. You may not go and read PhD because really PhD in those days will not really be relevant except a PhD that invented something. We are talking about equipping themselves and developing skills necessary for their operations. Number 4, you must develop the skill of engaging with stakeholders engagement. And I've told you, and I will show you from the screen tomorrow, the stakeholders in the church are divided into 2, or in a business, internal stakeholders, which are your members, the family of your members, and anybody that your members is involved in, and the external stakeholders, which are the community in which you live. Are we together now? You must develop a skill that can reach them. Then another skill you must develop is called emotional intelligence. Write it down. Emotional intelligence, and we'll go deeply into that tomorrow. And the last one is cognitive flexibility. Now, these things look, some jazz and jargons. However, they are the element that will equip a doctor when AI will diagnose a patient, and AI will cut the patient and take the organ and put another organ. So why do we need a doctor? When AI, you can turn to them and answer some questions about how you feel, and it will diagnose you and prescribe medicine that you should use, or prescribe to you right away what next to do, where to go. So what will happen to the general practice? When AI, you have a case in court, and you can go into some platform, and it will ask you, what is your issue? And you type in the story of yourself and the other clients, and the AI generates for you letter before claim. Lawyers will understand what I'm saying. And then the AI, having received the response of letter before claim, you put it in the AI, and the AI generates for you particulars of claim. Fill your form N17, particulars of claim. And then you send it away, and the AI reads the claim, responds to the claim, deny or accept, and then a counterclaim. And then you put it in your AI, and your AI process it and send it to the court. Why do we need a solicitor? Engineer, put in the problem with your car, and the AI will tell you exactly with a video how to repair that car. And you take your spanner and go and do it, and you get it repaired. So what will a mechanic do? You see, these things are real. You can't pray against it, because Jesus told you they will happen. It is your knowledge. So none of us can sit on the fence any longer. This is the reason why meetings like this should be selectively, attended. And I say to you, when we have this kind of meeting again, make good noise. It is not for Christians. This meeting is not for Christians. It's for everybody. But when people who are not Christians come in and they hear things like this, they will wonder, so church do things like this, that can bring them to Christ. I'm putting this on television straight away. We are sitting on a time bomb in this world. If anybody thinks that somebody will clear us with nuclear weapon, it's a lie. Jesus said it's not possible. And it cannot happen. Anything Jesus did not say cannot happen. But everything that is happening now, Jesus said it. And people need to know Jesus said it, from where and how. And you can see all these things. Therefore, these factors will create, as I said, wicked problem, which are not easily solvable. So you can see G7 meeting and they don't know what to do. G20 meeting, they don't know what to do. You can see election in Nigeria, the person who won overnight, they announce somebody else. And then what is going to happen in Nigeria? Are they going to fight? Are they going to shoot? Are they going to reject? And some people have said that the previous unrest they saw is very minimal to what is coming. Will the people, majority of the people who voted another person, will they succumb to a person who's an impostor? All those things will come. Am I telling you? Sit down. In the past, what gave birth to globalization is adverse poverty. Yes? Yes. Nations are poor. I think I studied a little bit about this in WTO when I was doing the World Trade Organization. Nations are poor, and they were sitting on great resources. All right? Yes. And other nations thought, why don't we go there and help tap their resources? So the seven brothers in America came together. ExxonMobil, and the rest of them. And they went to a place like Nigeria. And they began to tap the resources. And this is what they call globalization. The intention is poverty alleviation. However, what it produces is exploitation. Am I talking to you? Watch out as a minister that you are not exploiting your members. Am I talking to you? Be very careful. So therefore, the system solution was applied, or that we can apply, when we had this issue of the final war happening now. One of the solutions that we applied and we can apply is food banks for our members who have been affected by this current trend. Also, care center for members, and a secured system that will protect the identity of problems of members who have issues while meeting their needs, so that integrity is maintained. We have to think about many more things, problems that is facing us today. So I will say to you that it demands what is called a Rewiring Leadership Development Program. Tomorrow I will talk about Rewiring Leadership Development Program. We all have to go back to drawing board and rethink on our leadership model, our structure, our policies, our DOS, strategies, and the things that we do, and come back with an innovation that can attend to the global crisis now, with the view of soul winning. We stop there today. Pastor Fumi, please. The Lord bless you all, and I'll see you tonight while we look at the ministry of signs and wonders. Please, let's make sure we don't come late tonight. It's going to be wonderful, great. Those of you who are watching across the globe on the net, we thank you for watching. Join us together tonight by 7:30. God bless you all. Off net.